what should we know ahead of this hearing, and what, exactly is the Senate investigating?
Thank you for having me on again, Allison. Really appreciate that. A few things here. They're actually investigating. We must remember senators influence, of course, the law. And what they're doing is they're looking at this in terms of the influence of the Saudis, which is speculated as being sports washing, on the golf industry, on the U.S., and what is considered to be the prime sport of actually the U.S. legacy and history of the game. So what does it mean? It means there definitely will be a lot of grandstanding. There definitely will be a lot of moralizing, because this is a contentious issue. And what we've seen is all the adults in the room changing sides, because the PGA obviously initially said all the derogatory things about the LIV Tour, and now, no pun intended, they're getting into bed together to move forward. And this is a question of, will this be able to go forward? And what will be the report that these senators will issue that will influence whether that will be allowed or not?
I don't know if feel sorry is the right way to phrase it, Seth, but for the guys that didn't join up and get paid to be on LIV, like Tiger Woods was offered almost $1 billion. Now this about face is a major head scratcher for me. But we've seen some resignations. People on the PGA Tour are upset about this. Policy board member Randall Stevenson resigned over the weekend. He was with the PGA Tour for 11 years, and he did so because of this partnership with the Saudis. Do you expect more of this? Does it make a difference? Will anybody remember this, by the way, a year from now?
Maybe a year from now, 2, 3, 4 years from now, probably not. But it will depend on, are there more leagues that pop up? Do the Saudis get more involved in sports or other things, Rob? But to your point, there were a lot of people that sat on the sidelines and didn't take this money. That's going to set the new precedence, though. If something else pops up saying, wait a minute, we're not going to get chastised for very long. Let's take the money and run, because ultimately we're all going to come back together and forget all of this. And I think that's the big thing here. Are there more resignations coming? Maybe. Rory McIlroy, by the way, who sits on this policy board too, very opposed to this deal. So we'll see. Again, I don't think McIlroy's going to step down, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're keeping our eyes on it.
Hillary, I want to get your take on a move the LIV Tour just made. They moved their season championship from Saudi Arabia. Now it's going to be at Trump Doral down there in Florida. What'd you make of that move by the LIV Tour?
Well, obviously, they want to, at all costs and everything, Rob, they want to make sure that they're becoming as American as possible. They want to make sure that they're appealing. And by the way, those very lawmakers who are now opposed to this, many of them, of course, were very pro and on the side of golf. Until then, they were against the PGA. Remember, I said the adults in the room are changing sides. So I think this move to Doral is to make sure that they're getting as many people on board as possible and having a much more American image. Because a lot of this, again, going back to my initial point, is about the legacy of golf and the, in quotes, purity of golf as an American sport.
About and whether or not we can actually make the change here to become more Americanized. To Hillary's, I think it could ultimately be a good thing for the Saudis if they are able to make this play and make it work. But if they're not, yes, again, it's going to be problematic for them, because it shines a light on all that has taken place.
Yep. Right, all the negative press.
Negative press.
We'll keep an eye on it. Hillary Fordwich, Seth Denson, Krisha Lenzo, thanks so much for being with us this morning.